Well, out of choice they wouldn't have moved, but it's so different today. You didn't challenge anything. If you were told that you were due to move, you moved. It was and anybody in a uniform, you just did what they told you. So there was no challenge, there was no petitions or protests. It was, they called it progression, and of course because of the widening of Wharf Road, and that provided the access that was needed to the George Street Bridge, and half the street was demolished as a consequence.
Did many people from Wharf Road end up here, do you know, or were you
all they moved out, but not many came to Bettws, and I've never understood why. Yeah, we moved in with neighbours which are still here now to the rear, and a lot of them seem to come from the Shaftesbury area, Malpas, just behind Malpas Road there. So there must have been some redevelopment in that area at the same time. But at that time a lot of people moved out because they were living in the home, or the rented home in most cases, of their parents. When a younger couple got married, they'd have rooms with their parents because the houses weren't available and they couldn't afford to buy. So as a result, you'd have 2 or 3 families in each home. And then I think with the building of the Bettws estate, just before that Ringland was built, so for the first time younger people could have a rented home. But the biggest difference we noticed coming to Bettws was how light the rooms were, because back in Maindy it was all terraced houses. There was a little bit of industry there, but the windows were so small it didn't allow much light in. When we come to Bettws, there were massive windows, and as a result we kept the blinds closed, well, half closed during the day, because we just weren't used to it, and people from the pavement could look in. We'd never experienced that before. The windows were so small you just couldn't be seen in the house. That was 1964. Anything I can tell you beyond that on the day?
Yeah, no, that's great, thank you. So it's obviously a huge change. Were you working at the time?
Yes, I was working in a furniture shop in Maindy.
Okay, so did you continue working in a furniture shop?
I continued, yeah. And of course, rather than the shop being on my door, just a 5-minute walk away, because you had 2 buses to get to work and 2 buses home. But we were just pleased to be out here. And being surrounded by the countryside, as it was then, because there was no houses opposite, and with a 5-minute walk from the Monmouthshire and Brecon Canal, it was a revelation. No, I think when you're young you just adapt, you accept what it is, and I mean, it wasn't as shocking as much. We knew we were coming to an area which was a lot of grass and a lot of trees. But we loved Maindy, and nobody wanted to leave Maindy, because you knew all the shopkeepers, you knew all the people around there. We had a housewarming party about 2 or 3 months after moving in, and a lot of the neighbours came, as well as friends, and some of the neighbours are still here now, 55 years on.
So what was the community like living here? What were the neighbours like compared to Maindy?
It's gone back to the way Maindy was. I think because all the neighbours were in their 20s, except for our family, I was in my 20s, but Mum and Dad were in their 40s. They had street parties at every royal event, and of course you need one person in the street to put themselves forward, and we do it, and in our area there was 2 people, Diane, which she moved abroad, and Barbara, who's passed away now, but you could always rely on them to get things going, because it meant collecting from money each week and arranging. There was a lot of work attached to it, but as a result we had street parties for every royal event, no matter what it was. And you had people that sit outside in their gardens and talk over the garden fence and that. But as we got older and retired, everybody's become less communicative, if you like. Yes, But I think everybody came out here together from similar background. They were facing the same situation. That it brought people together. It's yes, it wasn't bad.